Hello everyone, Just Podcast TV is here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified on new contents.
Episode 22. What a young man. Haha, Mr. Tucker is too modest. You are so young, yet you are able to own a property in the Global Financial Center. You have a bright future ahead of you. I admire you very much. Seeing James be so humble, Jeff laughed out loud. Mr. Emery is flattering me. It's just a stroke of good luck, and I cannot accept it as my true ability. I really do not deserve your praise. James remained polite. He looked at the man who was once beyond his reach. He was now standing in front of him and talking to him politely. James suddenly found it rather amusing. He even felt he was dreaming. Jeff was an easygoing person. Since James was already here, he did not waste any more time. He looked directly at Mitchell and said, "Haynes, as both parties are present, let's go in and discuss the details of the contract." Jeff pointed at Larry's real estate agency. He did not know anything about the dramatic episode that had happened earlier. Mitchell had told him to come to Larry's real estate agency. That was why he had said that. However, Jeff's action made Larry's heart shrink. It was as if someone had stuck his chest and twirled it around. Mr. Emery, I'm afraid we can't talk there anymore." Mitchell apologetically looked at Jeff. "What's wrong?" Jeff asked. "Just now I had some conflict with the boss here, so I quit." Mitchell did not hide anything from Jeff. "Oh, so that's how it is." Jeff frowned and nodded, understanding his reason. However, Mitchell reacted quickly. He said to Jeff, "Fortunately, I earned Mr. Tucker's trust, and I am now his personal property manager. I have the authority to help Mr. Tucker deal with all kinds of the property business. If Mr. Emery doesn't have any other concerns, our cooperation can go as planned." "I like dealing with honest people the most in my life. Haynes, your personality suits my taste. I've no worries at all. I only need to rent a floor. As for the rest, I don't care." Jeff laughed. He did not have any airs of a super big boss at all. His attitude made people around him feel comfortable. No wonder he could have such accomplishments in his early 40s. He naturally exuded a unique aura, a temperament that a successful person must have. If so, this matter will be easy to handle. Mitchell also smiled gratefully. "Mr. Emery, this is not the place to talk. There's a coffee shop 500 meters away from here. I'll have to trouble Mr. Emery and Mr. Tucker to move over there. We can sit down and talk in detail while enjoying a cup of coffee." Mitchell extended an invitation to Jeff. During the whole process, he remained calm and composed. He did not look like an intern at all. Seeing this, Larry and all of Larry's real estate agency's employees were stunned for a moment. They had never seen this capable side of Mitchell before. Many of them instantly felt ashamed of their inferiority. "No problem. Mr. Tucker, please." Jeff immediately agreed. He extended his hand to James. "No need." James waved his hand. Jeff, Mitchell, and the others frowned, feeling a bit puzzled. Before Jeff could say anything, James said, "Mitchell, Mr. Emery is right. This is just a small matter of renting a floor. We don't have to make it so complicated. It's like buying something. As long as both sides agree on a price, they can just pay each other and get done with it. I don't like making matters complicated. Besides, I still have things to do later, so in my opinion, why don't we just settle the whole thing here? Mr. Emery, what do you think?" "Mr. Tucker is indeed a man of character. I naturally don't have a problem," Jeff replied without any hesitation. He had a whole lot of things to deal with himself. Since James had said as such, he would also be done swiftly. They were all people who lived in New York City, so they understood the preciousness of time. Especially for big bosses like them, time was money. James's words didn't sound arrogant in his ears. In fact, they suited his taste perfectly, making him respect James. "Since Mr. Emery is my first tenant in the Global Financial Center, I won't ask for an exorbitant price. How about $1.6 million a year? If you find it suitable, we can shake on it. Mitchell, will you bring the contract later?" While waiting for Mitchell and Larry's real estate agency, James had done a rough search on the internet. The rent for one floor of the Global International Financial Center was between $2 to $2.2 million a year. His asking price of $1.6 million was $400,000 to $500,000 less than the market rate. He believed that Jeff had no reason to reject him. Sir. However, his words made Mitchell anxious. He stopped him with a worried look on his face. However, just as he had opened his mouth, he was cut off by James with a wave of his hand. No matter how anxious Mitchell was, he didn't dare to say anything else. Jeff was stunned. Then he said, "Of course, I don't have any objection. It's just that Mr. Tucker's offer is a little too generous. Are you sure you don't want to give it a second thought?" "Ha, Mr. Emery is worrying too much. My promise is as firm as a mountain. However, if you feel a little embarrassed to accept it, you can introduce a few more tenants to me in the future." James put his hands behind his back and acted heroically. The current him really had the temperament of looking at money like dirt, making Jeff feel ashamed of himself in front of him. Mitchell also understood the true intention of his boss. Although his new boss looked like he was only 25 or 26 years old, he felt that his steadiness and magnanimity far surpassed his own. His decision to follow him became firmer. Since even Mitchell could notice this detail, Jeff was not an exception. He was a smart person. He saw James's intention of befriending him. "All right, since Mr. Tucker is so generous, I can't be stingy either. This is my business card. I'll accept you as my friend." Jeff felt there was no need to continue hesitating. That would only make him seem petty. Hence, he took out an exquisite gold-plated business card and handed it to James with both hands. After James took the business card, Mr. Emery turned to a secretary who just had stepped out of the car and stood respectfully beside him. "Transfer the money to Mr. Tucker." The secretary nodded and walked over. He took out his phone and transferred the money to James in front of everyone. The whole process was quick and smooth. "Mitchell, I'll leave the contract to you. Go and get it done. Hand it to Mr. Emery as soon as possible." Once the transfer was done, James rushed to Mitchell. "Yes, sir." Mitchell nodded respectfully. "All right, Mr. Emery, I really have something important to attend to, so I'll take my leave first. When I have time, I'll treat you to a drink. I hope you can give me some face and accept the invite." After explaining the contract to Mitchell, James turned around and saluted Jeff with his fists folded. "Ha, you are too polite. After getting such a huge bargain, I should be the one treating you to a drink. If you invite me, I'll definitely not decline." Jeff cupped his fists and returned the salute. James nodded and then walked to the Ferrari 812. Under the roar of the engine, he drove away. This scene once again made those who had looked down on him widen their eyes. They felt as if they had just been slapped in the face for the umpteenth time. Even Jeff couldn't help but mutter to himself as he watched James drive away in his red Ferrari. What a man!